looking at Monterey Park. The Vice President of the United States, her motorcade has just arrived. You see there her vehicle. She is going to be visiting the scene of that massacre that happened on Saturday night in Monterey Park, the dance studio and now we are watching, this is Vice President Harris with flowers in hand.
And noting this is the deadliest mass shooting in LA County, you might imagine that we would see someone with the likes of the Vice President here to, as she tweeted, stand and mourn with the community. And there you see the pictures of those who lost their lives, all between 50 and 70 years old.
Wow. Yeah, I was out there a couple nights ago and those pictures weren't there. It is quite something and moving to see the faces of those lost and that beautiful tribute to them. You think about the Vice President of the United States, not only the first black Vice President, but our first Asian American Vice President as well. Her Indian heritage, and she's well acquainted with the Asian American community, and this is such a meaningful moment for that community as well. And you think about the Vice President was just here just a few days ago because we had such devastating storms last week. Both the President and the Vice President made their way to California. She had no plans on being in California today, was in Washington this morning meeting with the Democratic caucus in the House, and yet having to make this trip.
You mentioned the storms, Alex. I'm thinking alone of the 3 mass shootings in 3 nights in California. It's been a very violent period in our state. And you see there as she goes along the lines there of some of the spots that have photos and some don't. We have had all of the names released of the 11 who died. Keep in mind, though, 20 in all were shot. So you have a number of people who were injured and may still be in the hospital, and thinking of those people as well.
And that's where she's headed after this. After paying her respects here, she is going to go to the hospital and spend some time with some of those victims who were shot, talk to the family members that were impacted by this, and that will be private. That will not be something that cameras are invited to. Governor Newsom, who had spent time with them the other night, told me that one of the first calls he got was from President Biden, who asked him for the phone numbers of the victims in the hospital and wanting to call them himself. Why don't we just listen in to the silence of this moment?
I'm here and I've arrived in Monterey Park today. For the violent and tragic and useless thing that happened. On behalf of the President and Dr. Biden and myself, we express what I know our nation feels in terms of those who died and were killed. Of course, recovery of those that were injured. You know, we've already had in our country this year already, we're in January, it's estimated over 40 mass killings already. And tragically, we keep saying the same thing. I have had the unfortunate experience of visiting days of a massacre like this. We will always, as a compassionate nation, mourn for the loss and pray for those who survive. But we must also, leaders in the nation who have the ability and the power and the responsibility to do something, that they act. California has been courageous as a leader on the issue of smart gun safety laws, but we also need Congress to act, because truly if we are to have a uniform approach that is a statement of where we as a nation, I think, where we are on these issues, then act so that we can get at least one step closer to what is right and what is reasonable, understanding that to do so is to fully support the Second Amendment, but to understand we need reasonable gun safety laws in our country. Express sentiments of the lady and the second gentleman in our country. I will be meeting with some of the families. I've met with the sheriff and the county supervisor and the mayor, and I will meet with some of the first responders. But again, to all of those who are here covering this tragedy, continue to also cover the importance of requiring elected officials and leaders to have courage to do the right thing when it comes to just what is reasonable and right. Thank you all.
Can this Congress do anything?
So there you have the Vice President of the United States paying her
Let's listen to him
respects.
for a second.
Can they do something? Yes. Should they do something? Yes. Will they do something? That is where we all must speak up and speak to our elected representatives about what we have a right to expect that they will do in the interest of the safety, the security, and the well-being of people like those whose lives were ended here and people around our country. They can, yes.